Is it surprising that Sydney Sweeney is now denouncing the very views associated with her very infamous American Eagle campaign? No. This is quite literally the domino effect and what a lot of people expected to happen, especially considering the fact that her latest movie and, some of her projects have not been performing well. In today's quick little short video, we're basically going to be recapping the American Eagle drama and updating exactly what Sydney Sweeney said in her interview with People magazine when it comes to her not agreeing with any of the views that were associated with the American Eagle campaign. Now, if you're one of those, but Sydney Sweeney has good genes, just get off of my comments, don't even bother, because you will disappear. But before I get into this, hi, I'm Naya. This is my corner of the internet where we do pop culture, nostalgia content, animation, film, TV, you name it. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we can get straight into this short little recap of what's been going on online lately. Now, nobody here is living under a rock. We all know about the American Eagle campaign, advert, whatever you want to call it. When I first watched it, I just felt a little bit weird and uncomfy because clearly there was a lot of it just felt really uncomfy for some reason. But I never knew that the reason as to why it felt uncomfy is because people online were, alluding to the idea behind it, which was eugenics being promoted, the whole my genes are blue thing. These are things that I found out through a lot of the discourse online. Now, during the time of all the drama and everything going on, she was having a lot of public appearances, and one of those public appearances was her having an interview with GQ, and it went viral for so many reasons. Because when given an opportunity by the interviewer to kind of expand on her thoughts about it or what she thought about it, basically she said she didn't care.
The criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. That was kind of the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
So she initially goes from, when I have something that I want to speak about, that, she's going to speak about it or we're going to hear from her. It seems like she wants to speak about that thing now. And that thing being that she does not associate herself with the views and everything that the American Eagle campaign stands for. I'm going to read it out from my laptop. I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and love the brand. I don't support the views some people choose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I have come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us. People had a lot to say, and I'm going to read their responses in just a second. But now that she's singing a different tune, it just feels like she realized that, conservatism, whatever level that is, whatever you would refer to that as, is not as profitable as she initially thought.
So Sydney Sweeney is in full-blown panic mode and The Housemaid hasn't even come out yet because after 3 film flops and MAGA losing interest in her, she's suddenly apologizing for the American Eagle ad. The one that she swore spoke for itself. But now she has something to say. Here's what actually happened though. When that ad dropped and people called it white supremacy coded, she brushed it off, didn't care, didn't address it, because at the time she thought she had the MAGA fan base backing her for life. Then after that, we get Christie, a film that deals with misogyny, domestic violence, and sexual identity. And the right took one look at that and said no, because the themes go against literally everything that MAGA stands for. So the left didn't want her, the right didn't want her, and Christie tanked. Add 2 more flops on top of that, and suddenly she's walking into The Housemaid with no loyal audience left. And funnily enough, right after The Housemaid press tour starts, now she's apologizing for the ad. Now she wants to clarify the misunderstandings. Now she's trying to crawl back to the people that she alienated. She didn't apologize because she understood the problem. She apologized because her only remaining fan base, if there is any, can't keep a 4th movie from flopping.
Well, hell must have froze right on over, and Sydney Sweeney's publicist must have finally clocked into her shift. Because it looks like she's finally speaking out in regards to the American Eagle ad. She tells People magazine, "I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and I love the brand. I don't support the views some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true." She tells People magazine she's someone who leads with kindness. And that she's addressing the campaign backlash to clarify her stance and dispel negativity. "Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I have come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us." AKA, my movie flopped and I need to save my career. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. Because the truth of the matter is, you had an opportunity, that an interview perfectly set up for you to address this, and you chose to be smug and not give a fuck. But because obviously it's affecting your career and you have these new movies coming out and the studio's probably putting pressure on you to finally say something, now something's being said because it's actually affecting your income and your job, okay? So now you care when it affects you, but you didn't care when it affected everybody else, did you? And I know some people are gonna say, well, aren't you just happy she finally said something? Like, why are you never satisfied? I already know it, I see it coming. Here's the thing, I mean, it's good that she said something, I guess, but like, the tonality of that to me just gave, she's trying to say that like what people came to their own conclusions, she doesn't align with that. But it doesn't change the fact that you were part of a eugenics ad. This is just like the bare minimum bullshit ass, like here damn ass statement that I've ever heard, because she needs to do this, obviously. Like, it is what it is. I'm still not watching the movies. I don't give a fuck, because you had all the time in the world. The last thing I will probably ever be watching of yours is Euphoria, and you better thank Zendaya for that, because anything else that you're in, girl, will not be sat. Sorry. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, and make sure to follow me for more pop culture content.
You're a coward, and I think that might be worse than being a racist. Sydney Sweeney finally apologizes for American Eagle ad. She goes on to say that people assigned meaning to the ad that she doesn't align with, and she wants to address that because she doesn't like hate and she isn't about divisiveness. Her full quote says, "Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always trying to bring people together. I'm against hate and divisiveness. In the past, my stance has been to never respond to negative or positive press, but recently I have come to realize that my silence regarding this issue has only widened the divide, not closed it. So I hope this new year brings more focus on what connects us instead of what divides us." She also says, "I was honestly surprised by the reaction. I did it because I love the jeans and I love the brand. I don't support the views some people chose to connect to the campaign. Many have assigned motives and labels to me that just aren't true." If you were wondering, the ad came out late July and the conversation started like late July, right? Because American Eagle put out a statement on August 1st, and it is now almost Christmas time, and she's now choosing to apologize. Let's not forget that this comes after she sat down for the Man of the Year interview with GQ, and she was asked directly about the ad. And instead of addressing it then and either taking a stance, she then kind of had a smart ass answer and was being sarcastic and was like, "I just love jeans. I just love jeans," with a smirk on her face while she's essentially trolling the interviewer because she doesn't give a fuck. But now a month later, all of a sudden she can put out an apology to people. The fact that she went to People specifically is to note, it's noteworthy, right? And it's because People magazine works directly with PR people, and this interview didn't come with a new photo shoot, which means the odds are is that these words never actually came out of her mouth, and it was a written statement. Like, they asked people, probably sent her team 5 or 6 questions, and then someone typed out an answer as to what Sydney Sweeney said. When, who knows, odds are is that probably never actually came out of her mouth. It's just her PR person typing the answers. When she sat down with GQ and had the opportunity to let the words come out of her mouth, come out of her actual mouth, and actually say the apology, which, by the way, this isn't really an apology, right? But to come out and like say, "Hey, I'm actually against these things. I don't stand for it. So we had a conversation." She chose to be a smartass, and she chose to be like, "I don't know. It's not that big of a deal." Now that it's time to apologize, you're doing it through a third party. Interesting. It's coming right after she was spotted out with this bob, and there is a creator up here who was like trolling her for how bad this bob is, which it is. It's very Republican, right? Like, actually, this entire look is insane, but whatever. Was up here trolling, and then her hairstylist got under his comment section and was going back and forth with him, arguing about hairstyle and about him talking shit about her and basically being like, "Leave her alone." Which I said a bunch of times, like, there are a lot of people up here whose PR teams need to be shot in the head. Like, insane. Having anyone on your team online arguing for you is crazy work. Evidence that celebrities do not care about us on the internet, right? And people like me who sit on the internet talk shit about celebrities, we're pointless and we don't matter, and right? From that point home, the next time Sydney Sweeney was spotted out after this argument, she no longer had the bob. She went back and put her extensions back in her head. That little example to me encompasses everything that's wrong with Sydney Sweeney, where it's like, at the very minimum, I still wouldn't like you, but at least respect you if you stood for something. If you just stood 10 toes down on whatever it is that you're doing, right? Like, just stand by it. But instead, like, you are such a coward and a people pleaser. You can't even be brave enough to stand by a hairstyle. Like, not only were you not brave enough to speak out when the ad first came out, because again, like I said, if someone was calling me a Nazi, I'd be waking up out of bed, and by noon, the apology and the statement would have been out. Because I'm like, Mia, what? No. You know, like, if it was an oversight and it was not the intention, I would have addressed that so quickly. Because a lot of things that don't need to be addressed, Nazi allegations though, no, those should be addressed right away. Right away, they should be, not me. Not only did you not do that, but then when you given the chance face to face out of your own mouth, do the brave thing and be like, hey, you know what? That's not what I stand for, and I'm actually 100% against that. You took the cowardly way out then as well. So you essentially doubled down on it, whether it was your intention or not, through your sarcasm and through your little smart ass mouth. You essentially doubled down on it. So then at that point, all you had to do was stand on it. So why wait a month later when no one's even talking about it anymore to then put out this half-ass fake apology in this statement all of a sudden? Why are you backtracking? Almost like, what was that? Those 4 flops in the theaters in a row? Is that 4? Are we at 4 or are we at 5? I think we're about to be at 5. But the 4 flops in the theater in a row, all of a sudden when your pockets are hurting, you put out 4 movies this year and in total they grossed less than $2 million, all 4 of them together. Oh, all of a sudden, oh my God, you're realizing that MAGA doesn't really go to the theaters. Oh my God, all of a sudden you're remembering that you work in the arts. That people who care about the arts are creatives. And those people are very rarely conservative. Oh, it's clicking in your head now. I've been saying it for a long time when it comes to Sweeney. Her real problem is that she is not very smart. I've been saying it for forever. That's not a smart girl. And the success of anyone but you fooled you people into thinking that girl was smart. She is not. And all of the fallout of her career is evidence of that. There are a lot of very strong parallels that can be made between her and Pamela Anderson's career, right? Both women who got very popular because people were obsessed with the way they looked, that people were sexualizing them, right? And then Pamela Anderson during her time also then came out and was very, which I'm pretty sure Pamela Anderson is very Republican, but also came out and like made statements against feminism, basically like she doesn't need feminism, she doesn't get why other women act like that, like she can't understand it for the life of her, right? Because she was so different, because the boys liked her so much and she was one of the boys and she didn't need women on her side. That was her whole thing. The whole thing with the sex tape happened and Hollywood disregarded her, right? And then all of a sudden when she comes back and they're making this miniseries about her life, all of a sudden she's being like, hey, you should be able to exploit my life. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing that happened to me was very traumatic. Someone exploited my trust and put out personal information about myself, and I hate that you're introducing it to another generation of people. Like, you should give me an ounce of respect. I deserve better than that. Women deserve better than that. And it's like, oh, all of a sudden you understand feminism. All of a sudden you understand feminism. Like, wow, interesting. To be clear, Pamela Anderson's entire resurgence and her being able to have this renaissance and come back and like have a career again is because, number one, it's because Pamela Anderson is just, her personal history is so interesting. Her personal lore is so interesting. Like, she very much was an icon. Somebody with iconic looks under her belt, right? We see people dress up for Halloween all the time. Also someone with a very messy public personal life. People always care about that. People are always intrigued by that. And then she also happens to be a pretty good actress, especially now that she's got older. That explains the renaissance. Sydney Sweeney, on the other hand, though, is not going to have that same kind of luck. Number one, because your personal life is not messy. Number two, because you can't use something as scandalous as a sex tape to instantly like to solidify your place in pop culture. You can't do it. Those years are behind us. That time is over. And number three, because Gloria is not Baywatch. Like, you're not an icon, and the way that actually you're never gonna be. I can solidify that. You're never gonna be an icon. It's like, sorry. So like in 20 years, when you suddenly realize that you need feminism, you suddenly realize that you shouldn't have discarded women, that you shouldn't have like trying to appeal to the male gaze, you shouldn't have threw women audiences under the bus. I think it's gonna be a lot harder for you to have a resurgence. I don't know. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that salt money don't run out.
Because it started to get to a point where she was, doing a lot of things for them, trying to entertain them, trying to, would I say be on their good side? I don't even know, because so many people have been saying things online like she is MAGA and she's this and she's that. That's what people have been speculating online. But it did feel like she was starting to like move closer to that side and pandering. Pandering is the word I'm looking for, to the conservative needs, shall I say. And, she released a couple of projects. There was the Americana movie with Halsey, where Halsey got really mad that people were deciding not to watch the movie. I think Halsey needs to also understand other perspectives, because, it's a loaded gun, you know what I mean? There was a lot of stuff going on. There was also the Christie movie, which I personally was really looking forward to see when I first heard about it, like way before she started to become MAGA Barbie, like way before this time. I was like, okay, I liked her in Euphoria. I want to see what she's going to be able to do, whether she's going to like do something different than being Cassie. And I was really looking forward to that. But not only was there so many like bad marketing choices being made that she is now noticing is not getting her any money, nor is it getting her liked, but also a lot of the performance and critical responses were abysmal, unfortunately. She also has another movie coming out. It's called The Housemaid. I don't think that's out yet, but it's coming out soon. And Christie was one of the biggest box office bombs of in movie history. So that probably took her back to the drawing board. She probably got like a new publicist or something, because this doesn't sound like her. She said she wasn't interested in any of this. And I know there's a lot of people that were in my TikTok comments. If you don't follow me, it's at Naya Writes on TikTok, same as here. And the people were basically saying that she has nothing to apologize for, not to apologize for. I'm like, that's fine, but she's apologizing now. So, well, when I say apologizing, it wasn't really an apology. It was more like, I need this, guys. Disregard everything that you guys heard or that I've done. But yeah, let's get into the reception of this very interview. Valentina says, LMFAO, it finally hit them that the interview she did pretending to not give an F and not addressing it was not the right move. Reminder, she was given the easiest out ever in that GQ interview and purposefully played dumb. Or purposely, whatever they wrote here. Them MAGAs she was trying to align with don't buy movie tickets, and now she understands how divisiveness is bad. Woke never left, you can't stop what's coming. This is how a conservative hick talks. Calls must have been made because this is drastically different than what she was saying before. LMAO. A month ago she said, when I have something to say, people will hear. Today, she's pretending she never said that. MAGA can't keep their story straight for 30 days. Movies flopped, now she understands divisiveness. I see someone hired a new publicist, LMAO. Too late, boo, you kinda weird, I don't know. Her team trying to backtrack after they realize the audience she catered to doesn't support her projects. It's too late, you're already the face of MAGA. Will Sydney be able to recover from being known as the face of MAGA or MAGA Barbie? I don't know. Is she being legit in the way that she feels? I honestly don't know. Does she have a new publicist or someone on her team? Maybe. Comment down below your thoughts, and I will see you guys in my next quick pop culture rant. Bye.